When we have to take on the liberal tactic, and when one of us comes under assault, we don't go, yeah, what a terrible guy that is, because he doesn't see the world exactly the way I do. We need to circle around them and defend them, and then punch them out behind the boiler like these do. You stupid idiot, what are you doing? You know, and then bring him back, and he's got blood running out of his nose, a couple teeth missing, and everybody goes, yeah, it'll be great. Okay, I'm being a little bit...
You're too vivid.
I'm being a little tough. The point I'm trying to make is, we have to understand that if all we're going to do is use numbers and statistics and things like that, we're beat. We're lost. Because the other side just gets emotional. It's why women win most of the arguments in the home.
Okay, if I can just pitch up a second. I'd like everyone to give Brian a warm thank you. He has to go this on Tuesday. Thank you very much, Brian. We appreciate you coming and joining us. And I see Brian McGillis who would like to ask a question or say something.
Yeah, well, I think, you know, everybody has a desire to get rid of McGinty because of the laws they have in place now. Well, I had an opportunity to talk to Tim Budak too as well 3 weeks ago, and I explained the whole situation at the Coronal Community Hospital and also what's going on in the province of Ontario. And he looked at me like I had 3 eyes. He didn't have no desire to make any changes, and I don't think he will either.
I totally agree with that, and I have gotten the same perception off of him as well. And then you have somebody in the cast?
Sorry, I was laughing. Two quick comments or encouragements and words of, I guess, advice for all of us. Is one, the Caledonian issue has been boiling for a while, but they did succeed in getting Tim Budak there to take a position on it. So it's not a lost cause. You know, you just have to keep pressing your point. The other issue is that some groups are a lot better than us in lobbying. You know, literally, I don't know if it's every day in Queen's Park, there's all sorts of groups lobbying MPs. So this sort of made a carrot and a stick. So a carrot would be set up a day, and you know, it's I guess wine and cheese, or you know, you have, and then the MPs come down, and you sort of have, you lobby them as well. So that's just 2 things that I thought that I should share.
Thank you very much. We have another.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, regarding health care for we in Ontario, this has gone on for so many years. The people in Quebec come over here, and they don't pay Ontario what the Ontario rates are. That's right. And that's gone on for years and years and years. Now, certainly, you know, Mr. McLaren and I hope the caucus and everything, whatever can be done, but that is, it just should not continue.
Taking up hospital beds.
Yeah, I know, and we're paying for them. Besides not taking all of this.
The inequality between what Quebec can do, and not only that they mentioned about lobbying. You know that there's so much of our tax dollars go to fund organizations such as La Fédération des Cinq Francophones and so many other French organizations that allows them to stay at home or to sit there all day, to have people actually run an organization all day long and put all their effort into it. Using our tax dollars, whereas groups like us and the Ontario landowners, we get absolutely no funding because, well, we're only the majority. I mean, we don't count. But that's why it's so difficult for us to make a difference compared to the French push that's going on. It's not because they're more organized. Well, yeah, they are more organized because they can sit there all day long and work at it. Whereas we all have our jobs to do during the day, and then we have to give up our time and our weekends to push for our rights and freedoms. And they know that, and that's why they have us where they do. Jürgen.
177 Francophone organizations in this province get our money to fight against us. The AFO is $1.43 million. How are we, with 10 and 20 bucks here and there and everywhere, supposed to fight that? When our own money is being used against us. How are we supposed to lobby? Who has the time? We're all trying to work. We're all trying to find jobs. Right? So
Well,
it's a great idea. We've been wanting to do it for years. But when we do approach politicians, they run away and hide because this is the sacred cow that even Stephen Harper says bilingualism is the god that failed. It has produced no unity and cost taxpayers untold billions of dollars. We know now it's billions. Some estimates since 1969 say it's trillions of dollars. How do we fight that?
I say
You fight that?
start your own party and have your own flag.
Oh, there's an idea.
I share your sentiment on emotional point about starting your own party. But I go back to what I said earlier. It doesn't matter what party is started or supported. Unless we demand it of ourselves, we do all the grunt work. The reason why people want to start something new is because, and I'm not criticizing you, and it might be a really good idea, but right now we have what we have, and we have to work with what we have, whether we think they're doing a good job or not. The fact is, those are the tools in the toolbox that we have. So, what I'm suggesting is that rather than run off over here and take 10 years to build a grassroots party up, like the Wild Rose Party or the Old Reform Party, or you pick whatever one. That's all fine in a long-range plan, but we don't have that kind of time. Dalton and Gibson, in the next 4 or 5 years, there will be nothing left to save. They're fighting to save the basement because the house is burned down. So what I'm saying is, let's concentrate on the dirty little jobs. How do you fight it? One step at a time. How did the Canadian Army free Belgium, free Holland? One dike and polder at a time. They didn't worry about getting a German border. They did it one little creek at a time. That's how we do this. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. One $5 donation at a time. One meeting like this at a time. Get your friends and relatives out. That's how we do it. You do not overclimb a mountain in one single bound. Only Superman does that, and I don't see any capes.
I totally agree, and I look back to... I totally agree, and I look back to when Howard Galganoff ran as an independent in Stormont Dundas Glengarry because of the bilingualism issue. And he had so much support from Conservatives, but they didn't want to split the vote. They were so afraid of the Liberals getting in. So that's the problem when you look at starting a new party, is that everyone's so afraid that the Liberals are going to get in that you're going to have a hard time getting people to fight with you. So you're better off, I almost tended to believe, you're better off going after the politicians that are there now and try and sway them to our way of thinking.
No, what you have to do, and Jack is a testament to this, especially with the PC party of this province, is to go into the EDAs. Get known in the EDAs. We need you in there to fight. I wasn't allowed to run in the last election because I come to these meetings. That's why I was knocked out as a candidate, because I come to language fairness meetings. But they picked every hand-picked candidate in Eastern Ontario. You guys have to get in there, you have to fight, and you have to fight hard to get your candidate in there like Jack McLaren fought.
I used to be the president of the Glengarry Prescott Russell Riding Association until I wrote my letter telling about what happened at the beer store. And Pierre Lemieux, who I helped get elected in 2006, booted me out as president, and then he booted me right off the board.
It's lost. It's lost.
So, on the political process within the Conservative Party, you're right, we need to get involved. I think we all know that, we all hear that today. I never wanted to really be a politician. The guys like Tom Black and the other landowners said somebody should stand up and get elected, and then they all looked at me. And so I could have been whatever on corn and soybeans, which I really enjoy, and I did buy a new combine this year, which was always the toy I wanted to have, but anyway, that's a different story. But in the last election, 22 candidates were handpicked by the Conservative Party. That is wrong. That is undemocratic. How many won? 2. 22 won. So that was an absolute failure, and it was absolutely undemocratic, of course. So that became a very big problem, and that was made very clear to the Conservative, the PC Party Association of Ontario and their executive. We just had a convention a few weeks ago, and the biggest part of the convention was electing a new president. Some of you were at the convention, I think. It was actually quite exciting. It was actually very democratic. There was 3 good guys ran for president. I think the best one won, Richard Ciano, and part of his platform is that in nomination meetings, They will be free, open, and democratic.
Wow.
And that is a great thing. So that creates the opportunity, and Richard is a strong leader. He's a very strong leader. So we're going to hold him to that people can choose the person they want to represent them in each and every riding. That's always the best way. It may not be the one the party would like, but actually that's what will make the party the strongest, and we will win if people are allowed to choose the person they want. So you need to get involved in your riding associations. You don't just hope some good guy shows up, or that somebody else is going to pick the right guy for you. You're a very motivated group of people here. You are passionate, as well as logical, what is that?
Common sense, logic, and reason.
I think it works better, Nick. Short work for you. But anyway, need to get involved. We may have an election sooner than 4 years, most likely. So the party is now talking about having nomination meetings in every riding. Where there is a candidate already, they want them to happen right away within the next 2 or 3 months. So if you have a riding where you're not satisfied with the Conservative guy who's a sitting MPP, you can take a run at him. We did that in my riding. With a hell of a battle, but it was a great experience. But you can win. The democratic process does work. Now, if you're in a riding like Prescott-Russell, which has gone liberal, you can get involved and pick the person you want, and get out there and aggressively start campaigning now. And by December 1st, they want nominations completed. So there's a timeline. So the Conservative PC Party of Ontario has set a deadline of December 1st for completing all the nominations for all ridings. That's for the open ridings. The ones that have sitting MPPs are going to happen very quick, like within the next 2 or 3 months. So it's an opportunity, get involved, and do something about your future. Thanks.
Well,